Well, many of you might be very used to working from home by now, and that may not change even with vaccinations. A survey by Global Workplace Analytics found that 76% of global employees do want to continue to work from home at least a few days a week. I spoke with a business consultant who is also a New York Times bestselling author on productivity about the future of work. So, Rod, you advise companies, executives, you talk with the military, you talk with governments as well. And in your book, Widgets, you even talk about how to manage your employees like they're regular people. So as you're advising executives and you're looking at this whole work from home model, what stays and what goes as we emerge from this pandemic?
Well, at the risk of giving the consultant's answer, I'd say it depends. It really depends on the nature of the work and how well it can be done remotely. There are obviously situations where we need to be there in person. But broadly speaking, we've been moving in this direction for a number of decades, that there would be greater flexibility. Once we had laptops that allowed us to get the same work done at home that we could do in the office, Wi-Fi connectivity, and those other technological aspects, to a large degree, we were commuting to the office to do work that we could do at home anyway. And in many cases, the reasons why we were going to the office was because it was just forced a habit. It's the way we had done it forever.
What do companies lose, though, by not having that in-person collaboration?
Well, potentially nothing. And the reason I say that is that to some degree, in-person collaboration in the way that a lot of companies set it up was oversold. I think a lot of leaders thought, well, if we take a bunch of smart people and put them in a room and give it a good shake, good ideas will come out of it. And the research was really kind of mixed, that sometimes good ideas came out, but sometimes it ended up kind of getting in the way of people's productivity.
From a bigger picture standpoint, we have a lot of social inequities in our society that we're working on. Can we work on that, though, while we have people in their basement and not coming together, working together in an office-like setting?
I think we can address those connection issues, those larger community and fairness issues, but we'll have to be deliberate about it. One of the cool things about businesses is that they remained one of the last places where people from different backgrounds came together in person to work on a common mission. And you're absolutely right that that's lost in the process. On the other hand, has there ever been a time when it's been easier to reach out to someone across continents? And everybody's on LinkedIn. You can find people who are different than you on LinkedIn. And there are technologies, like there's a startup here in town called Structural that is kind of like LinkedIn on steroids, that helps people make connections and understand who's out there. So if we're deliberate about it, strategic about it, I think we can make connections in place of those that we would have had in person in the office.
Rod Wagner just posted an article for Forbes on this topic that will link to our story on our website. But bottom line, there's no way to predict the future of work post-pandemic, but there will be more working from home than ever before.
Even this company and this business has learned how to do it.
There are very few of us actually here in the building.
But we are right now.
We are. Yes, we're.